My next guest is the games editor for Omni Magazine. He's also the author of a book called Omni Games, which features some of the best breast boom teeters.
You said breast.
I said breast, and you all heard it. Some of the best brain teasers in the world. Would you welcome Scott Morris? Let's get Scott out. You have some wonderful stuff in Omni Magazine. You have driven me absolutely to distraction with some of those puzzles, and you always think they're tricky, and it just has to do, I guess, with logic. But I quoted one on the air, I think, a few weeks ago. Didn't you have one in there? One of the questions was, why are manhole covers round?
Yeah.
No, that sounds like it.
There's the silly answer, which is because manholes are round.
That's right.
And
but
then
there is another answer.
There's a serious answer.
Why manhole covers are round? And I remember I got one of them right. I didn't get the other. One, because they're easy to roll to where they're going. The second reason is they can't fall through the hole, and square ones would.
Square ones would fall through. If they turned them on the diagonal, they'd fall through.
You see? Stuff like that. It'll drive you nuts. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, in my April
You have
column,
something about impossible stuff.
we also did a few months ago, years ago, you did the three red hats, which drove people
that's
crazy.
wonderful.
We will not do that.
People still do not understand
I
that.
still get telephone calls when that show is repeated.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Great puzzle.
The April column, I have a series of things I call impossible objects. These are what I call a museum of the impossible. Now, many people have heard about this. This is a pear.
A pear.
In a brandy bottle.
In a brandy bottle, a full size. From out here, it looks like a full size.
Some more bottles. Here.
It looks like a full size pear, in a bottle with a neck obviously too small. Now, was that grown in there? Is that?
That's one of the theories.
Theories that you put a small pear in there and it grew.
That yes, I get a lot of people say, well, they dehydrate the pear, they drop it in, and they add water.
It's not a bad explanation.
Another group says, well, they heat the neck, and the neck expands. They drop the pear in. Others say that the bottle's been cut, either down the side.
Is this an optical illusion?
No, it's really in the bottle.
It is in the bottle.
And you hit on the correct answer. It is grown in the bottle. In fact, I've got a photograph to show the audience.
Oh, I see. In other words, you actually look what they did. If you put a bottle over the pear growing on the tree.
On the tree. In other words, if you go through the orchards in France and Italy at the right time of year, you see, for the whole growing season, bottles wired to the trees.
So the fruit grows
So the
right
fruit grows inside. They then cut it off. When it's much bigger than the neck, take it and add the brandy, sterilize the bottle, and market it.
Interesting concept. Now you have one with a small Rubik's Cube, obviously in a bottle.
Yeah.
With the neck much smaller than the cube. Okay. Now, obviously, this doesn't grow. This was assembled in the bottle?
Yeah. Bob Easter of San Francisco did this for me. He basically...
It's the way they build ships in bottles. They put them in and then they pull this...
If you've ever taken a Rubik's Cube apart, each of these little cubes is part of it. And
so
he filled the bottle up to about here with sand, coarse sand, glass beads, so that he had a platform to work on right here.
I got it.
And then just with tweezers of his own invention, several tools, put it together inside.
Now we have here...
Oh, I have a story about that. That Rubik's Cube was given to a professor of mathematics at Lawrence Livermore Labs in California, Harry Nelson, who came to work one Monday morning to find the cube had been scrambled inside the bottle. Whoa. Someone over the weekend had played a trick on him.
Well, that would drive you crazy.
Yeah.
That drive you crazy. Now we have here a Coke bottle with a wooden arrow with obviously two rather large things on the end. And you say, how is that possible that could be placed in there? Okay. There it is. The arrow. Little arrow through the bottle. Was it carved? No, that wouldn't make any sense. It hasn't been...
I'm not going to tell. I'll let you work on it.
It hasn't been added to or glued. I mean, this piece wasn't put through.
He assures me, Gary Fauché,
it is all one piece.
Assures me that there's no glue marks that are undetectable.
I think I know what they did. Well, let me take a guess. They put this in hot water, very hot water, and compressed it, and then put it through, and it expanded.
Very good theory.
Would that work?
Yeah.
Is that the way they did it?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know. I'm not trying to be boy genius, but that's the only thing I can think of is that
Gary didn't want me to tell, but since you got it, I have to
Is that
admit
really it?
I've gotten, in the April issue of Omni, I did not tell how this was done or how this was done. I basically said I want my readers to give me their theories, and in coming months I will tell you. The most common theory I got on that, the false theory, was that he grew the trees through them, and that if you went out to his backyard, you'd find all the trees with Coke bottles on them.
Here's another one that has a dowel with like about an 1.5 inch screw through the dowel, through there.
Horizontally
through there. You see that?
Now, the most common theory about this is that there's some kind of a hole that goes straight down the center.
Not true.
And you can see there is none. The most common theory I get from my readers was that this screw is not a solid piece, but is in 2 halves, and that you push it through the neck and the 2 halves pop out.
Not true, huh?
That's not true either. It is a solid screw.
Okay.
And the answer is...
I'm sorry. That one baffles me.
That's
All right.
amazing.
I don't...
Let me show you some others.
I remember a magic trick once where you put a quarter inside of a Coke bottle. That was a pure magic trick, or a $50.
Yeah,
But that was something else. That was a gimmick.
Well, we're having a contest now, a $300 grand prize, in which I'm asking my readers to send more impossible things.
Okay, what do we got?
And I have... Well, this is just, I made this out of CASRSON production stationery backstage.
All
So
righty.
this is a piece of your paper, and you can see that this flap here is enough to fill these 2 rectangular areas.
That's true.
And yet, how could it go down there? You can see there's no tape, no glue, no staples or anything.
Oh, wait a second.
How could that fit? Now, I will ask you to let me handle it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because
I didn't mean to...
there's a reason.
What you're saying
it's
is...
very easy to accidentally
What
solve
you're
it.
saying is that...
How can this fit in both sides? It's called the hypercard.
Okay.
And the reason I'm asking you not to touch is because it's very easy to solve it accidentally without knowing how you solved it, just by twisting it.
Of course it is. Yes.
And when I show you, your reaction will be, I can't believe it's so simple.
Did you cut it with the screw in the bottle?
Obviously, it is not glued on there. You say, all right, that...
They did.
You want to show you?
Yes.
It is
Yes,
so simple. It's just one piece of paper.
Right.
That's all. Your mind assumed that this surface is the same as this surface because you've got a nice rectangle there.
We'll be right back. You know, we've got other things we want to do tonight, Scott. You've got to come back another night. This stuff is really fascinating, and we've got some upside-down pictures of some of us on the show.
I'd be happy to.
Would you come back with us?
Love it.
We got some puzzles here. Good night. Thank you.